All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. We are here once again. We're going to get right into it. As you can see in the title, you ain't ready. Okay? And that's going for a lot of people in this world. I was watching a video that the elder apostle Tahar did. I think it was he said, I see major or big things happening in 2026. And you had a guy in there that was going into the BCI technology that majority of these companies are coming with, which is the same technology, just different brands. So you got Neuralink, you got Apple that is now pushing it. And you got other companies that are going to join in too, to where now they're going to the point where you can control your iPhone with your brain without having to physically have the phone with you. And they showed glimpses of that in what was that? There was a clip. I forgot what show it was from, but it was a clip where you had this chick. I think she invited her mom out. It was like a little cafe area where they were, and she was like, "Yo, I want to show you something." So what she basically does is she doesn't have anything on her, but she just makes the signal like a phone call and puts her hand to her head, and then she calls her mom, and the call goes through, and then the mom is talking to her, and she's hearing it from, basically inside of her head, and she explains to her like she got that implant inside, that's what allows her to do all those things, So they try to pass it off. I'm not sure. It was a short clip that I saw, but I'm not sure where it came from. I'm sure Black Mirror has many depictions of these things though. So they're showing you those things and they're trying to make it seem like it's a cool thing. And the guy in the video was tying it all in, right? He was connecting the dots. He was saying, look, this is in Revelation, the MOTB, right? Revelation 13. So it's very, very apparent. In fact, majority of people, when they hear about this kind of technology, they think about Revelation 13. Okay. The only thing is, now on Esau's side, he's going to need to do something. That's why the scriptures say, we got to start with that. It's in Revelation 19 or 16, but it mentions those that have been deceived to receive the mark, because Esau is going to need to use deception in order to get people to take that MOTB. Because you got to think about it, right? Like, how are majority of the world, or a good amount, going to succumb to this thing? Meanwhile, they all are privy to it. Majority of them are privy to it because we've been pushing this out there. So people have some sense. There's some times when people come up and we'll ask them, the MOTB, what you think it is, and they'll have some sort of correlation or tying it in to the CHIP or to some version of technology like that. So Esau is going to need to come with something, something major. Or like Aharon said, the reason it's going to be a hour of temptation, which we could get that as well, and it's going to be trying. Because think about it, right? What's so tempting about them bringing new technology and people are like, yo, this is mad dope. I can't wait to go and get it. And then I can make phone calls without having to have my phone on me. And I can buy and sell without doing X, Y, and Z. That's not a trying temptation. That's just like if they came out with a new iPhone and then people are excited about it. That's just excitement. The trying part comes when it's not about I'm enticed because it's cool. It's about, if I don't do it, I can't get the necessities I need to survive. That's when it becomes a trial, right? That's when people are like, yo, like, this is life and death, bro. Like, I know what this is. You see, that's when you're no longer, now you can be held guilty because you know what it is, but you still go and take it. That is the actual test, okay? So when they come out and they start making you real desperate, and then they push it out to you, that's the actual moment of trial where the Lord is going to need to keep us. Because if it's just based on convenience, well, I mean, we could just be like, all right, it's like somebody rocking an iPhone 7 right now, and there's iPhone 17 that's coming out, and they're like, oh, I'm good. I can just make my phone calls on this. I don't need the latest technology to live. I'm fine. So what's so trying about that? Why would you need the Spirit of the Lord to keep you from a temptation like that? No. Because it's gonna be so difficult to live without these things, because they're gonna take away everything else from you and say, well, if you don't have this, you ain't gonna be able to eat tonight, today, or tomorrow, or the day after that. All right, that's what's gonna try people, And that's why the title is You Ain't Ready. Majority of these people ain't ready. We saw the Lord showed us a glimpse of that during the demic. You got people that came on there protesting, talking about, oh, we ain't gonna take it, we ain't not gonna do it. Even people in the Israelite community, oh, we ain't gonna do it, we ain't gonna take it, we ain't gonna touch it. And then when the mandates came through, the tunes flipped. Oh, if you gotta do it, just do it. I know he's the devil, but do it anyway. Like, bro, excuse me, you know. Anyway, but what was that?
I got
Revelation 19:20.
Yeah, let's bring this out real quick and then you get your point.
Yep.
Revelation 19:20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him.
Yeah, so that's how you know that this the whole Pope and the Catholic Church, the religious aspect that's controlled by Esau, they're gonna play a role in this. Why? Because this prophecy is tied to what the world knows as religion. So they need religious figures to come in and put people's minds at ease to tell you that no. Don't listen to what these street preachers are saying. They don't know what they're talking about. They just preach hate. Okay? Listen to us. We are the authority. We are the clergy, right? We are the authority when it comes to the scripture. So if we tell you it's not what they're saying it is, then they want this. Now you got freaking what was it, Larry Fink talking about the Antichrist sermon and shit. All of a sudden, everybody's an expert on the scriptures.
Peter Thiel.
Oh, Slocket, Peter Thiel, yeah. They're all demons anyway. But as it says here, right, the beast, which is this system that is set up by these nations, because the beast is a culmination, right? It's like what's the Power Rangers when they all unite and they form this giant beast-like figure. That's why the scriptures say that they will give their power onto the beast for 1 hour, all right, for a period of time. So you're gonna have the system. This is at the point of destruction. Go ahead.
With which he deceived them.
Let's read that again from the top.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast.
See? So they're gonna use that deceptive system, all right, and these figureheads with their technology, because that's how they're performing those miracles, to deceive people that are dwelling on the earth, to tell them that, look, God gave us technology, so now we can heal you if you're lame. We can heal you if you're blind. The technology is not something you should be afraid of or something bad. You should actually embrace it. This is the new paradise. Okay? This is the new heaven on earth. This is the kingdom of heaven. Become a transhumanist. Embrace it. Become one with technology, and you can ascend to the level of a god. This is pretty much a remake of the garden. This is what the serpent is back here again. All right? And he's bringing his technology, his MOTB, all right, and this beast-like system as the fruit. And he's going after Jake yet again, saying, look, did the Most High say you shouldn't touch this? What do you think is going to happen when you do let this into your body and become one with it? You're going to become wise. You no longer have to study a new language. You can just download it. You can connect to the internet in your mind. You can become a god. That's what they're pushing. They're pushing this new, the new fruit and the new Eden. And the Most High is going to break it down.
Just to add to your point, and that's why the Lord, look at Satan coming on us. But that's why the Lord is going to give that right hand spiritual power, man. Pardon us for a second. On the way to Dunkin' Donuts. But yeah, land backing off your point, that's why the Lord is going to raise up power on the right hand. Because if they got all, you think the Lord is going to allow that, the left hand is just going to get all this, and they're going to have all this through technology, and the Lord not going to do something on the right hand to counteract it? We gotta have faith to believe that standard is going to be raised up to counteract all of the technology. And really, that's what's going to make it fun, because people are going to look at it and say, man, you got all of these devices in you, you become like a cyborg, you become like a god on the left hand. People are going to look at that like it's untouchable. So then for the Lord to raise up his men and just step on it, that's going to be Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai's magnum opus, man, his great work. Part of his great work is not only going to be to destroy Babylon the Great, but he's going to glorify his name by giving power to the men that have praised his name, that have been speaking in his name. Now, reading back, Revelation 19 and 20.
Also, just real quick, I just saw something here. It says the U.S. National Counter Key Center warns of threat to large crowds or big events, multi-city attack. And they're basically saying that there are threats, recent calls by Al Qaeda for attacks against the United States. So, you know, we're at the point where what was it called, the poly crisis? You know, where it's like you got so many things brewing on many sides, but it's not going to be just one. It's not going to be just one. It's just going to be which is the first one, okay? Because it's going to be like a domino effect. One goes off here, the other goes off here, the other goes off here, and these people are just going to be cooked. They're going to be like sheep to the slaughter, straight up. There's more on that?
Yes, it was. It says, with which he deceived them that have received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped his image.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're deceiving these people to have them bow down and worship it. Because look, when you get so sometimes you get so desperate to the point where a lie can sound like the truth. Oh, matter of fact, the movie 1984, they show you that. The dude who was getting tortured, getting electrocuted for hours and days, he knew very well that what the guy wanted him to say was not the truth. In fact, it was so hard for him to do it that he was trying. He kept asking him, he's like, yo, bro, you keep shocking my ass and then asking me, how many fingers do I have up? I see 4. And I keep telling you 4. You keep, no, you ain't learned your lesson yet. Put him back in the shocker. And he just kept shocking his ass. And he's like, bro, now he got to the point where he said, I don't want to answer. Just tell me what to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it, bro? If it's not 4, like, what do you want me to actually say? And when he said, tell me what to say, tell me what it is, that's when they're like, you learned your lesson. Because the lesson was, you don't think unless we tell you what to think. I got 4 on here. No. If I say this is 3, this is 3. If I say this is an apple, that's an apple. So you ain't gonna tell me what you see. You gonna wait for me to tell you what you see. All right. That's the point where they're gonna get these people. They're gonna keep bending them and say, you gonna take it now? You gonna take it now? Are you gonna take it now? And then eventually they're gonna say, no, I shouldn't. But this pain is a lot. Let me go and take it. That's the temptation.
Yep. Most everyday people you talk to right now, they'll say, I would never. It's easy to say that now. It's easy to say that now because there ain't no pressure. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. What does that do for anybody? That's why even us, we're serving the Lord as we speak and present ourselves living sacrifice, and we'll still say, Lord's will. We're kept from that hour of temptation. But these people, they don't fear the Lord. They don't have the Holy Spirit. They don't have no protection. Not angels around them. If there is angels around them, it's angels of death getting ready to lay a hammer of judgment on their ass, man.
Right. And I think Shalom had a quick point. And I know Haran, you was holding something from earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you want to bring this out real quick?
Yeah, we can just
finish this.
These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
Right, and that's that destruction, that nuclear destruction that's going to come. And what it means by alive is that they're going to be, while they're in effect, the Most High is going to pull up, or he's going to send Yahweh Shai back and destroy them in the midst of that, okay, at the zenith of their empire. So while this beast system is in effect, the Most High is going to come in and break all that down. Got it.
Just so I want to go to that word to see, just to bring up some more information. In the Greek word there is plano, which sounds like plan. And some of the definitions say to cause to stray, to lead astray, to lead aside from the right way. It says to lead away from the truth, to lead into error, to deceive. It says to sever or fall away from the truth. Or last one says to let away into error and sin. So the deception is going to lead people away, like you were saying. That whole thing that they were, what was it, 1984 was it?
Yeah, 1984.
The fact that he had to go through that shocking each time was to what? Break down the mind, to what? Lead him into error, to lead him to say, look, I want you to go the wrong way. But in order for you to do that, I got to put you through a series of torture in order to lead you the wrong way. It's not like you're just going to do it on your own, because if you see what the truth is, you're like, oh, no, I'm going to avoid that because that's danger. Like, you know, the scriptures say, like, look, if you take it, like it says in Revelation 14, you're going to be cast into the lake of fire. But it's like, you know what? I got to break you down. I got to break you down mentally. You know what the truth is. I know the truth. But we're going to play a little game. Really, it's not a game, but for me, it's a game. It's a game of torture. I'm going to keep shocking you until I mentally break you down to the point where the brother said, okay, what is it? What is the answer? What do you want? At that point, now I have your mind, and now I'm able to lead you the wrong way.
Got it, bro.
Hey, Khan, yeah, that's y'all can hear me? Audio is good? Khan, the audio about me outside. Yeah, I was going to bring out a quick precept here to back up the point that y'all was making in regards to how the trials and temptations that's going to hit. Because remember, the scriptures tell you that this devil comes in the spirit of Satan, as it tells you in 2 Thessalonians, right? That he comes after his workings is after the spirit of Satan. So he understands spiritual aspects. He understands how people work. He understands the logic behind a lot of things that people do, the decisions people make. They do all these studies for a reason. And if we know that this devil is going to come in the spirit of Satan in the hour of temptation, the first thing I think about is the temptation of Job, right? You think of the temptation of Job. What did Satan pitch to the Lord? He said, yo, why do you think he's serving you? He's only serving you because you protect him. You give him all these blessings. He got a lifestyle he's living. He got riches. He got animals. I mean, it says that he's the richest man in the East. So he's got it. So if I was to take all that away from him, he's going to curse you to your face and die. You see, now Satan knows that that's the nature of man in general. Now, if you're an elect man of the Lord, you have a different spirit because the materialistic things that's around you is more of the materialistic things around you is more of a residue of the blessings the Lord gives you, right? In other words, you have a nice car. That's not because you're a wicked ass nigga. No, it's the Lord who blessed you with that nice car. Maybe you asked for it, so he gave it to you. You might have a nice house, but those things are just things that you use to get by. You're not really invested in that. Like if you're serving the Lord truly and honestly, things that are around you, you don't really put too much stock into because it's just a placeholder for now until the kingdom comes. But the people of this world, everything they have that they don't own, right? To them, it means everything, right? It's their God. They worship it. Niggas got all kinds of different cars lined up and then they go around videotaping it, showing the world, hey, look at this. Yeah, we came up. Yeah, nigga, look at this shit. Look at that shit. If a nigga like that, if they take everything away from him, you think he's still going to be talking about serving God and all that? He's going to be telling you, yo, I got to do this to feed my family and my kids, man. He's going to be desperate. So think of the spirit of what happened to Job. Think of the events that hit Job and think of what's going to happen to all these people that you see in America when they go through their Job moment. All right, that's the scrutinizing right there. All right, that's the trial. Okay, the trial of your faith, because the hour of temptation truly is a trial from the Heavenly Father. Are you going to keep your faith in me when you have nothing, or are you going to just say, oh, you know what, I have nothing and God ain't doing nothing right now when I need him, so I'm just going to bow the knee and then let them give me whatever it is that I'm looking for, that they telling me that I got to get, right? But let's get this real quick in the book of Jeremiah, the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, now, when you go into that word temptation, all right, it's the word pirasmo or pirasmos, which is in Greek. And it says here, it says a putting to proof, right? A putting to proof by experiment of good. It says experience of evil, solicitation, discipline, or provocation. It says by implication, adversity, or otherwise known as temptation. Now, when you go into the word, the Greek word, the root word for piriasmos, it goes into the word pirazo. Okay, pirazo, which means what? To test. That is to scrutinize, to entice. Okay, to examine, to prove. Okay, so the hour of temptation really is a trial of your faith, nothing more. Okay, can I sustain in what I'm working? Can I sustain in the capacity that I'm in right now until the Lord comes back? Because that's the goal. He said what? Endure to the end. So no matter what capacity you may be in, you have to hold on to that until the Lord comes back. Okay, as it tells you in the book of Matthew 24, real quick. Down to, I believe, 28, if I'm not mistaken, or 29. All right, it says here, Matthew 24, verse 29, it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So immediately after the tribulation, meaning the trials, okay, the temptations, the test, the scrutinizing period, okay, It says, verse 30, this is the key. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. So that's where you say, Lord, I finally endured. You're here. Now we good, right? Then shall appear, then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And that's what we're waiting for. Okay, so the trial and temptation ends when Yahushua cracks the skies. So until then, you got all these Christians talking about the damn rapture and all that. Talking about September 23rd, September 24th is going to be the rapture. Well, we got news for you. Your ass is going to be right here. You're going to endure the martial law. You're going to endure the civil unrest. You're going to endure the sea hip. You're going to endure the famines. All right, no food in the streets, no foods in the grocery stores, nothing. You're going to endure all that if you're a so-called Christian. And that's where your faith is going to be tried. You've been talking about I'm saved and all this. That's where we're going to see if you're really saved or not. Everything that the prophets have been saying, the Hebrew prophets have been saying, you never listened. All right, and I'm going to start saying that. That sounds better in my ear. Hebrew prophets, I like that. You know what I'm saying? The Hebrew Israelite prophets, I like that. You know what I mean? But you niggas never listened. Just like you've always done. You never listen to the prophets when the Lord sends us, and then the trouble comes and all of a sudden everybody, I need help. Come help me. No. All right? But that's the times like going into the word pirazo, that's the testing, that's the trial. And when you go into it a little bit more, it goes into what? A testing, ultimately, where, they got to give you the thing. That's the real test. Okay? So when you go into that word pirazo, it's enticement. Enticement to do what? To do sin. And what's that sin? That you know what? And that's why everyone who takes it, what's going to happen to them? Revelation 14 and 9 on down. Okay? Because you've touched off the accursed thing that the children of Israel did, that brought the Lord's judgment upon them. Okay? So there you have it, man. But you got it, bro.
Saying how God is slowly being reintroduced. I want for y'all to look at it in a mild tempered way. But right now, last week I spoke to my cousin and he was hit with that. Not the jab, but the actual, you know what I mean?
What?
C-19.
Oh,
Just recently got it last week. So right now, the reason why they slowly reintroducing it, so they're about to bring that back out. So it's going to be slowly introduced with given to you on you can choose to get it. It ain't the repercussions is not really taking place now, but further down the line it's going to be mandatory. And right now they're using other things like meningitis, stuff like that to scare you up into using it, but y'all not ready for the mandatory, and it's going to be back to where you're losing your job over it. So if y'all ready to lose your job over a situation like this, but that's just all I want to say is that they slowly reintroducing that. So be on the lookout for that.
Hey, when you mentioned that right there, real quick, I actually saw some news yesterday, and that's on point that you said that, because they're actually brewing up that spirit again, the C-19 spirit. They're bringing back that shit back again, and what they're doing is the new trick they're doing, and I noticed it was they're playing off of that division that you have with the whole CK situation, because a lot of tempers are high and so on and so forth, emotions running wild, so they're playing off of that. So that division spirit, they're bringing that shit back on a whole nother level. From now on, you're going to see a whole lot more topics become very divisive. And that's what they want. So now what they're doing is they got two governors right now, both West and East. You got Hochul from New York and Newsom from Cali. All right. And what they're saying is, oh, no. Trump and RFK and them are saying that the Vanessas don't work and we're canceling it. We don't have to deal with that stuff no more. But what we're going to do is, we're bringing it in. We're going to fight against Trump because those are democratic, see how they're playing it? These are democratic states. So they're saying, oh, Trump, this guy is changing everything. We know what's best for our people. We are the governors. Our people need to be, their health is the most important thing to us right now. So no, F what Trump is saying. Trump is always trying to come against our states. So we don't want to hear about him saying that we're regulating this shit when it's not, healthy. Nobody should be taking it anymore. No. We're giving our people the choice. Listen, we're going to give you the Vanessa. Go ahead and take it. Don't listen to what Trump is saying. But meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're all working together. That's the trick. They're all working together. It's all controlled opposition. Oh, look, listen, let's let the governors go against Trump. And then let's have Trump come against the governors, and then let's have people be divided with that topic. And then we could come in and do what we got to do. Oh, you're the one who's going against Trump? Okay, cool. We're going to arrest you and your governors. But they all play the same role. The prison that you're going to end up in, you're not going to see Hochul in that same prison. You're not going to see Gavin Newsom in that same prison. Okay, when they do all this mass arrests and they pick up these mayors and governors and all these, they've played their role. They're done. They're going into their bunkers to wait and chill and pop bottles. Meanwhile, your ass is in a military prison somewhere waiting for a freaking military tribunal. Okay, that's what's going to be happening. Fucking execution and fucking alligator Alcatraz or some shit because you disagree with the genocide in Gaza or whatever the case may be. This is what's coming, man. And they're tying in the C-hip thing. So now, if you speak your mind or you speak against all this shit, oh, this motherfucker's mentally ill, go pick him up. That's how it's going to be. And a lot of people are about to start facing that shit. The hour of temptation is going to be a real time, man. A real time of test, man. You got niggas playing around. I just want to say, that's all I want to say. You got it, bros.
Yeah. I just want to say real quick, just to add on, I don't want to make it hot because we got like some friends, not friends, but visitors here this week. One of the reasons, as the title says, what does it say? You're not ready. One of the reasons why people are not going to be ready is because of the people that they've been listening to. Now, I ain't going to make it hot. I don't want to point, but like down the block right now, we got some Christians. They set up their little podium or little thing or whatever down there, whatever. And the reason why people are not going to be ready is because of who you're listening to. You listen to those guys, Christians or whatever, people that go to church, they can't tell you what the MOTB is, right? Like I believe Eldar Tazwan, he gave his testimony. Oh, okay, I don't want to make it hot next thing they see me pointing, they come down here.
That's all right. They're going to get cooked back.
Eldar Tazwan, I believe he gave his testimony about how he fucked his parents like recently or whatever. And like they've been going to church for I want to say like more than 10 years or so. And they don't know nothing. And it's the same thing. If you
40 years, 40 years. 40 years, yeah.
40 years, and they don't know nothing. And then he will easily tell them, like, oh, okay, all right. And it's like, so how is it when you go to these churches, they'll say, oh, we don't know what that is. Oh, it's sealed. What do you mean it's sealed? Revelation 15 talks about the book was sealed, the seals were open. But they can't tell you.
Revelation 5.
I'm sorry, Revelation 5. I apologize. Well, the reason why is because you listen to these types of guys, and they don't know what the hell is going on. That's why. So another reason why people are not going to be prepared is because who they're listening. Because if you watch them over there, they just have their little pamphlet thing, and sometimes a person will come. I apologize for getting a little animated. I don't mean to. But they'll give the little pamphlet, and they'll just have that encounter with say, oh, thank you, thank you, God bless you. And but the scripture tell you about what? Feeding the sheep with wisdom, knowledge, understanding. When we talk, even though people don't pass by, when they hear what we're saying, it's like an itching ear. Like when they pass by and hear what we're saying, they might walk by and be like, what you're saying? Like, let me talk to you about what you're saying. It gets them, it brings them in, like it says in Matthew, talks about bidding them to the marriage. Think of it like an auction. When you're saying something out there, it's like, oh, okay, that's the price. I'll go up a little bit more. It entices them, it brings them in. When you're just standing there like this, that's not bringing nobody in. That's not causing anybody to want to hear something. When the prophets go out there with like Yahweh shine, things like that, right? They would say things that would kind of warrant people's attention. Like you just heard what he just said. Here, let me stand over there real quick. And then you know what, Yahweh shine, what you talking about? I don't know so much about that. But that gets people to think, and then hey, if something happens, edification comes with that because other people might see it like, oh, okay. That gets their ears kind of ringing and things like that. When you stand there, you're not saying that no edification is going out. So I just want to add on. That's another reason why people are not going to be because they're not being well informed.
I got a precept tying in with what Shalimar just mentioned. Isaiah 30:20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. And that's why it's so important that we come out here and present ourselves as a living sacrifice out here in the open, because how is Israel going to see their teachers if we're not out here on the forefront? You see? And not only that, but we're uploading it to YouTube. So you could not even be present with us. You could be on the other side of the world and look this up. And we're not afraid to go back and forth or deal with any type of scoffers, man. In the Christian church, if a scoffer comes in, they're gonna have the ushers come and escort the man out, right? Because they don't really want to contend with when it comes to these scriptures. But when a scoffer comes up, we embrace it. we welcome it because we're like, yo, we have the truth. The truth fears no. The truth is fearless, man. At the end of the day, because nothing, at the end of the day, nothing can be done to confound this. See, whereas if you don't have the full truth, you are going to be afraid because deep down, you know, there's a bunch of chinks in your armor. Matter of fact, you don't even have any armor. You're going out to the battlefield bare, with just open, naked, you know. But we have the full armor of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So whoever comes up, we're like, shit, this is going to be edification. Good. Somebody pops up and starts scoffing against us on the comments. That's why it be kind of dry when you scoffers don't pop out, man. We be where y'all at? Come on out, you know, because we ready to dance. All right. With when it comes to this Holy Spirit in these scriptures, man. And just reading the next verse, it says, "The 9 ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it."
That's because they're gonna be walking past, right? And that's as they walk by, you know, and they hear our voice, you know. First it'll be in front of them, then it'll be on their side, and then it'll be behind them, right? But they'll hear the voice telling them. Now, it's not that we just stand here and repeat the mantra, "This is the way, walk ye in it. This is the way, walk ye in it." When it says this is the way, walk ye in it, meaning you're gonna hear us telling you that, hey, you got to turn back and hear this word, because if you don't repent and seek the Lord, you're gonna be destroyed in this coming destruction. All right, go ahead.
Should be when you're going to wear. Should be halak or yalak, and it's your manner of life.
Look at that. Yep. Right. And that's why the Lord said in Isaiah 58, "Cry aloud and spare not, show my people their transgressions." Right? That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to call out the things you're doing wrong, and at the same time tell you the things you should be doing, which are right.
Didn't Yahushua say, "I'm the way, the truth, and the light"? So, hey, ultimately, when you come to us, we're gonna point you to Yahushua, and Yahushua is here moving through us. So, whatever you hear us speak is going to be according to the scriptures. This whole time, brothers have been breaking down the MOTB, the system that's being raised up, and that's also a part of walk ye in it. You know, this is the way, walk ye in it, so that you don't go down that path. Okay, and that's why it says here, this is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. So whatever way whatever comes your way, you're going to have this word in your mind. Wisdom is a defense. So when they start bringing these things out, when they start saying, listen, oh, you're going to have a nice setup if you just take this device, you're going to have that thought in your mind, because the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has been out here. The Lord has had his men out here warning you. But what have most of you done? You have made a mockery of it. You scoffed, you scorned. Okay, that ain't going to happen. That ain't the breakdown. That ain't this and that ain't that. Okay, but at the end of the day, we about to see. That's the beautiful thing, is we don't have to wait. We waiting patiently, but we're at the point where now it's happening. And it's all right in front of their face. That's why ISUPK slid it in there, where they might just, you know, there might be a MOTB. We just saying. They might be a Karagma. You know, we just saying. Maybe, maybe not. And the thing is that you're subject to what's happening. You know, you can only deny reality for so long before it starts smacking you upside the head. Like, hey, this is the MOTB. This is the MOTB. You see? And this is the time that we're in. So this is the way, walk ye in it. Follow Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Makakwadash and the men that he set forth.
Football. Imagine you go out there on the football field, you don't know what play you're going to get fucking blasted.
Yep.
You're going to run the wrong route and run into the wrong person, and they're going to decleat your ass.
No helmet.
Exactly. So here it is. Imagine you're going to the most important time with one of the most important prophecies, and you don't know what it is. Oh, it's sealed. It's sealed at this point? Imagine like a test, right? The Brother Bakar always mentioned it about, right? Imagine you've been studying this entire time. You've been, taking notes. But imagine you was the lazy person. You didn't pay attention. Oh, I'll just wait till the last minute, or it's not that point. I'll breeze through it. Imagine when it's test time, you can't look at. Nah, your teacher going to be standing right there. Yo, eyes on your own paper. Because what? You're supposed to be studying and taking notes the entire time. You can't now. Nah. You gotta know it on your own. So when the MOTB is presented, you can't come and want to be able to, hold on. That I'm a little unsure of that. Hold on 1 second. Let me go find the Hebrew Israelites and look. No. It's you and me right here in this scenario. You can't go and want to run away now. And fight. No. It's either you taking this or not. You know what it is or you don't know what it is. And that's what it's about. You can't go into the most important time and now want to be all scared and be like, imagine you out there in the football field again. You just, what route am I running? Nigga, we've been doing this for a whole week. What do you mean what route we running? You're supposed to know.
Yeah, let's get Revelation 3 and 10 real quick.
Oh,
Yeah, because when you mentioned that, you know, it's that's why that scripture is
I
very
read that, so
prevalent.
that's the spirit.
Oh, what happened?
I said I read that already, so that's the spirit that got to come up.
Oh,
again.
hey, that's definitely the spirit then. Yeah. Done. It's prevalent because in Revelation 3 and 10, you know, we'll read it again, but it's not about like Revelation 3 and 10. The Lord isn't saying that He's going to keep us by revealing to us necessarily what the MOTB is. The keeping in the Hebrew is shamar, which is like to guard, right, or to like watch over and to protect. So it's going to take more than just knowing the MOTB and what it is to be delivered in that time or to pass that test. Okay, knowing that there's an exam coming and it's going to be for your math class does not guarantee you're going to pass it. You still need to actually now study the material and actually take the exam and pass it. So knowing that the MOTB is the CHIP is only one part of it, because now what's going to happen is you're going to be on there day by day for however long the Lord has it last, day after day, day after day, day after day. You're being constantly tempted. Are you going to take it or are you not? And these demons are going to come because that's going to be their last go around to sift people out at the last minute. And they're going to come every day with a different challenge. You might go 1 week where that's the week you got fired. Then the next week they're trying to evict you. You know what I'm saying? And meanwhile, every time this temptation comes, they always going to throw that back door, that pseudo life raft at you. You know, look, I really don't want to have to let you go. You're a real good employee. You know, you work real hard. But we're going to give you 2 more days. You're going to need to get that thing and come show us the proof, right? Or we're going to need to let you go. So they're going to keep on doing that, where it's like every time they threaten you with something, the alternative is unless you do this thing. You know, looks like it's time, you know, you haven't paid your rent yet, right? And you might just be about to get evicted. But, you know, if you go and take that thing, we'll give you another month or 2 to help you figure things out. You know, so that's how they're going to keep on presenting it. They'll keep on presenting it with just temptation after temptation, temptation after temptation. They're not going to make it seem like, oh, well, if they made it seem like you ain't got no other option, it's easier to depend upon the Lord. It's like, Lord, are you like, well, I can't do anything anyway, so I might as well just depend on you, Lord. But if they make it to where you got an option, now it's a choice. You have to make a hard decision now, because now you got fired. But if you had taken the thing, you might have kept your job. See, versus we're just gonna fire you straight up. There's nothing you can do. Then you're like, Lord, well, there's literally nothing I can do but just pray to you. So the Lord ain't gonna make it that way. He's gonna make it. As a matter of fact, let's get that. Let's read it. It's gonna try the whole world. And you know what? People are not ready, man. They are not ready, because you know, I just saw something, right? You had this woman walking with a dude, and you know, this may not be the case, but then again, it might. So they're going in one direction. She just stops. She's like pointing in the other direction, and the whole mannerisms and the demeanor looks like she's the one who wears the pants. You know, dude is just there, you know, just there, whatever, just walking with his phone and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just flapping his arms around and stuff. And she's just like, okay, no, we'll go here. Let's go here. And I'm looking at him like, that's so backward. But when all hell breaks loose, when we come into these hard times, guess what? That's not going to be the case, because her feminine nature is going to kick in. And if you've been wearing the panties all the time, she's going to come and pull that shit off you and put it back on her. And now you either going to put on the pants or you're going to be out here naked. And majority of these people right here, majority of these so-called men, they're not men. They're just children in grown-up bodies. You know, a lot of these people, they're children playing grown-up. That's all it is. They don't know how to actually be adults. They don't know how to be responsible. They have no clue. Matter of fact, you got people that are failing in life. How are you failing in common sense in life? Like, that shit is crazy to me, bro. Like, you mean to tell me that you need somebody to, I need a life coach. I need a therapist. You know, I need somebody to tell me how to live life. The same life that I mean, how hard is it? You wake up, you use your brain, you stay out of trouble, but you got people that find it hard to do the basics. So if you find it hard to exercise common sense, to think ahead, to use critical thinking, to stop before you take an action and say, hold on, why am I doing this? Or maybe I shouldn't do this. Is it a good idea to do this? If you can't do that, you're not going to survive in the times that we're coming into, because common sense is going to be goes without saying. That's a requirement that that's a base requirement that you should have. All right. You got children in other countries that use more common sense than adults over here. If you go to certain other countries, you see children 12, 13, 14 years old, and they're taking on responsibilities of what grown men over here don't even do. Because hey, that's how they have it. It's hard. And when life is hard, it forces you to be hard. But over here, life is so easy. Everything is just given to everybody, spoon-fed with everything. And even that, niggas can't even eat off the damn spoon. The spoon is right there. All you gotta do like a child, open your mouth and eat. No. What do you mean? Like, I gotta open it this way or that way? Like, can you open my mouth for me and then put the food in there for me? And then, help me swallow this joint? That's the point where you people are at. And the Lord is about to throw you into a world of hurt. No longer is it gonna be like, yo, I gotta go to the store. You got Jake that can't even go to the store and buy the correct items to come and make food. That shit is so crazy. Meanwhile, in real life, you gotta actually go hunt, get the live produce. You gotta get the live creature, and then you gotta prepare it. You can't even prepare freaking a pre-processed food.
You can microwave some shit.
Yeah, you can't even microwave some shit. Damn, bro. The shit says put in the microwave, put it on 2 minutes, and leave it at that. How the hell do you mess that up? But then again, that's why they're not going to survive in these times. Because even if the Most High gave you, here it is, you in the forest, and the Most High has a deer come up to you and just lays there like, all right, come eat. They're gonna be like, nah, hell, ew, get that away from you. They don't. These people have no clue how to actually live life, man, and that's why you're gonna get caught up real bad in this time of destruction. Did we read that? Yeah. All right, let's read it.
Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience.
That's a conditional statement already. So anything that's coming after that is only applicable to those that have kept the word of the Lord's patience. That's it. If you haven't kept the word of the Lord's patience, which is to keep his word, to guard his word, to follow his word in your patience, enduring whatever may come for you following the words of the Lord. If you haven't done that, don't even read the rest of that, because it's not going to apply to you. Go ahead.
I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation.
There you go. So the Lord says, because you've done this. So if you are expecting the Lord to keep you in the hour of temptation, he's going to ask you, well, have you done this? Did you keep my word? Did you not read the precept? Blessed is he that readeth, right? What did the precept say? It says, because you have kept the word of my patience. So did you keep the word of my patience? Oh, Lord, but I was out there. Lord, I was doing this. Lord, I was doing that. Did you keep the word of my patience? That's a yes or no. You know what I'm saying? Don't come give me 1,000,001 excuses. Yes or no? And majority of people is going to be no. In fact, it's going to be worse than no for a lot of people. Not only did you not keep the word of the Lord's patience, you came against those that did keep it. You made their life a living hell. And then continued to do wickedness before the eyes of the Lord. So not only is the Lord not going to keep you, he's going to attack you. He's going to fight against you as an enemy. He's going to have you be the targets. And he's going to put his spirit, I got you. He's going to put his spirit upon whether it's gang members, wild animals, troops, drones, machines. The Most High could just have, a parked car just start moving in reverse and run over your ass. Jacob's trouble is going to be the time when all those unusual things start happening. Without doubt, without question. Finish that verse and I got you, bro. I'll read it again. Yep.
Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Right. So this is something that everybody's going to have to deal with. But the Lord is going to keep his elect. So when that time comes, Don't ask, how is it that you look like you bro, we all been starving. What about you? Why you look so good? You look normal. You look like you've been eating. I'll never hear you complain about food. You know what I'm saying? You always chill, you always calm. Yeah, because the Lord is keeping us, He's preserving us. So we know that, hey, when that, no matter what we got to go through, we got a higher power that's with us. But today in this society, you hear the kind of things people complain about. You're like, what the fuck? Like, wait, that's you realize that's self-inflicted though, right? Well, you got to be the you know, somebody comes to tell you their problems, and really you realize they're the problem as you listen to it. Yeah. You're like, what? You bro. No. The other person was right, but you know, you're going to tell them that they're going to say, look at you. You never take my side and blah, 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 blah. Bro, you're the problem. You're doing this. Not only are you doing this to yourself, you're doing this to others. And then you're turning around and complaining about why this shit is happening. Oh, why is it that they I don't know, they gave me a ticket. Where were you parked? At a hydrant. I freaking hate this place, man. How they gonna give me a ticket? You were parked at a hydrant, bro. Yeah.
That's when you just gotta hit him with the yo, that's crazy.
Word type shit.
Type shit. Oh, this is Acts 14 and 21. And when they had preached the gospel to that city and had taught many, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and Antioch. And this is the point in the 22nd verse, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So yeah, that's it. And backing off that precept that the brother brought out, that we're going to have to enter into the kingdom through much tribulation. And this was spoken of approximately 2,000 years ago, right? Maybe a little under 2,000 years ago during the time of Apostle Paul, all right? After Yahushua had already presented himself as a sacrifice and been risen up. So if they already were being exhorted and told to continue in the faith that you're going to go through much tribulation, how much more now in these days? And the beautiful part is, though, that we're close to the end now. So it ain't like we got to go through lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes of pain and suffering. We really at the end. So after this is going to be it. After this is going to be the kingdom. After this is going to be glory, everlasting joy, everything your wildest desires and righteousness is going to be fulfilled. Okay? So that's why, what do? We exhort one another while it is still day, because the night is coming. And in the night, that's when you need a light.
Right.
Okay, you don't need a light in the day. The light is out right now. If I would have shined a light, you wouldn't even be able to tell that it was on. Right? But when it's nighttime, everybody's looking for the light. That's when the street lights come on. But what happens when the street lights don't work? You have to have the light. You have to be the light. We have to be the light through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, so, and also we got to have night vision. Okay, night vision. So certain animals they're able to look at things at nighttime, and they're able to see what's going on. Owls, certain
Big cats too.
predatory big cats, exactly. They have that night vision. So we have to have spiritual night vision to be able to see through all, because it's very dark times, man. This is the darkest time in human history, and there's been some dark periods on this earth, man. You talking about the same earth that the Lord had to flood it because of how much wickedness was going on. And now we're at the point where it's even worse than that. That's why there's something called the second death coming. All right, which is going to be by the way of fire. Okay, so if you hear these things and it's clicking in your mind and you begin to fear and you begin to think about, I don't want to be a part of that, then there's a good chance that you're of the remnant, because that is the mindset of the remnant, that they would want to be delivered from these things. Okay, and not only that, but they will have a repentant and sincere spirit towards the Heavenly Father and His Son, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, so we can confirming the souls of the disciples, and that's why, you know, we check up on each other, and through these lessons we check up on each other and exhort each other. All right, because we need to be uplifted and encouraged to continue, because there's a lot of things and trials that brothers are going through. You know, whether we make a big deal or put it on camera, or we might do a testimony, you might not even hear about it. Trials that brothers been going through for years, afflictions, whatever it might be, and brothers still, the spirit of the Lord is upon them to still come out here, man. This is a heavenly work. Okay, so we're gonna keep doing it as long as the Lord allows us to. That's why we gotta endure.
5, verse 8. So, the adversary, the devil, First Peter chapter, yeah, man, we gotta stay sober and be diligent, man, because that's the only way you're gonna be ready, man. You know?
First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
Right. That's going right now at a high rate, man. You're following a lot of you because y'all not sober minded. Y'all not being vigilant towards the scripture, right? It's the only way that you're gonna make it through this whole during Jacob's trouble, man. Understanding you believe in the scriptures, man. And the Lord is having patience with us right now, hoping that the elect get sealed. In the process of the elect getting sealed, they stay in sober minded and they stay in vigilant. They hold in the scriptures wholeheartedly to the truth, be the truth. Keep them out of the snares, and the traps that's set up for y'all. Because the devil is waiting like a Roman lion, seeking whom he may devour. Right?
Hey, that's why people they gotta get on it, man. Because the Most High. See, when you look at you go back in time, you look at like Jeremiah. Jeremiah prophesied pretty much for his whole life, right? From a youth to his being up in age, and he prophesied. His whole life was prophesying about one of the main things was the Babylonians the Lord was bringing, what to do when they come, and then the Lord's bringing them, what to do when they come. The Lord's bringing them, what to do when they come, and eventually they came, and it was a very, very, like, we read about it, and it sounds like, oh yeah, they destroyed the walls, they destroyed the temple, and so on, but that's a very heavy sight to see and to behold. Okay, to break through the walls, fires, people dying, screams, people getting murked, killed, bashed, babies, children, all of these. That's all. When you read the Book of Lamentations, it goes into that. All right, how horrific of a sight it was to see basically your hometown destroyed, and then you being taken captive to to another country if you survive the journey. That is right, because they had them walk, they had them in fetters and chains, and they would transport them all the way to that foreign land. But that happened. And they were warned ahead of time, but they didn't listen. So now, as we're coming up into the most dangerous times that there's been, it's going to be a lot. Matter of fact, there's a precept in the Apocrypha, I think it's 2nd Esdras 16, where it talks about the women mourning, having no helpers, and their husbands dying in the wars. Done.
2nd Esdras 16 and 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegroom.
Yeah. And the bridegrooms are the men. Why is that? Because a lot of men are going to be dead. Okay, a lot of men are going to be taken out. They're like the quote unquote first line of defense. So when they come, if you're not a man of the Lord, you getting mowed down. There's nothing that's going to protect you or defend you. It's not going to be your guns. A lot of people don't even know how to defend themselves. And even if you did, it wouldn't really do anything to you, because you learn martial arts, that's to defend yourself mainly against another person. Martial arts is not going to defend you against a bear or 3 or 5. Okay, it's not going to defend you against famine. It's not going to defend you against pestilence. These are the things people don't consider, but these are more dangerous. If a human gets at you, you may not know how to fight, but you can run fast enough. All right, or you can hop in the car and just, drive away, or run back in reverse and hit them, which we're not promoting. But if it's a bear, you're not outrunning a bear. You got people that, once again, they don't even study these things. They'll see a bear and they'll say, "Oh yeah, matter of fact, bear." Some bears are the size of cars, and you just there thinking, "Oh, it's on camera. It doesn't look that big." No, that bear is big, and you're thinking usually the bigger something is, the slower it is. So I'm gonna just outrun the bear, bro. There's a video of a dude, which I don't know why they would even go on them trails, but there's a dude on a bike, and he's riding, and there's a bear in the woods that saw him, a hungry bear, and that shit, I think it was a brown bear, which are the dangerous kind, and that shit started chasing him. And I'm telling you, this bear was keeping up, closing in on him, and he's riding full. Now, one, he was on a bike. Two, his adrenaline was pumping, so he was riding fast as hell. You know, I mean, he was cutting through bushes that he ain't ever cut through like that before. Because when you're in the forest like that, the trail is very small. You know, so there may be some sharp turns, dives, and jumps. He was doing it all like a freaking professional biker or whatever. And every so often he'll turn around, and that bear's just right there behind him. And he's like, "Yo, what you think you're gonna climb a tree? A bear can climb a tree. You're gonna be on that tree branch, and the bear's gonna be down there waiting, and you're gonna be thinking, all right, you know what? At least I'll just wait on here until it leaves, and then the nigga just gonna start climbing up the tree. You know, once he gets hungry enough, he's gonna start climbing up the tree. So you can't defend yourself against these things, but these are all elements the Lord can use to get you. Matter of fact, he could just make it very cold, and then you just die of freezing to death. Or he could just make it very hot. Or he could have you spontaneously combust. You know how easy it is for the Lord to take. That's why the Lord is calm right now. Because he's like, yo, like, I literally could just do that.
And that's happened before. It's something called spontaneous human combustion.
Yep.
Where people just laying there, no fire been applied, no nothing, and they just fucking explode and burst into flames, man. That's scary, bro. The Lord has the power to do that. And then here come Esau trying to give it a scientific explanation. Well, technically, shut your ass up, man. You don't know what the fuck's going on, man. You know? And that's why the time of you Edomites just talking and using this bullshit and pseudoscience and, you know, all of this vain philosophy and vain doctrines of devils that you use, that shit is over with, man. See, the voice of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to be on the top right now, okay? And you devils are subject to everything that we saying, man. All right, you dancing to the tune of everything we say through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay, we not dancing to the tune of what you saying. We not talking about getting into this technological dystopia. Ah, we ain't with that. But you have to be subject to the words of prophecy that we saying, man.
Yep. Going on that.
And it says, the virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms.
Yeah, they're gonna mourn. So what does that mean? Wait, think about it, right? Today you got a lot of women that say, I don't need no man. So why would they be mourning not having men? Because a good amount of men are going to be dead. And the situation they're going to be in, they're going to be afraid. And they're going to be looking for that comfort. They're going to be looking for somebody to tell them, nah, you know what side? Stand back, stand behind me. No, that's not happening. You're going to be on your own. On your own. They don't even know what's the first place to start. All hell breaks loose and you're by yourself. What do you do? Where do you start? You're not home. You can't call anybody. There's no internet. There's no chat GPT. There's no AI. There's none of that. It's just you and the elements. And around you is danger. Because now every guy you see, you wondering, oh shit. Because here it is, you walk in this side, dude is walking on that side, then he's crossing the street. And now he's coming towards you. You know? Now you moving like SpongeBob. Sprinting, I'm running now. Like, okay, but you're not really that fast. So it's, and the thing about it is, you got to think about it, right? Imagine this. You run from one guy, and just when you escape him, you tired as hell. Another three of them that have the same thing in their mind are just right up the block waiting for your ass. You know, they've been watching you and they waited for you to tire out. And now they come out the woodworks. Some got bats, some got pipes, you know, ice picks in the summertime, you know, and they just hear chains, bricks. They just bring it. And you wondering, damn, what you coming out with bricks for? What you gonna do with that? You know? So that's the crazy times we're coming into, because lawlessness warrants these things. Who's gonna stop him from hitting you in the head with a brick? Who's gonna stop him from chaining you up to the back of a car? And you know what? When you watch the Purge, not the movies, but they had a TV show that came out. When you watch the Purge, they did some wild shit. Yeah, dudes chaining humans to the back of a truck and just driving them full speed ahead. Dudes just dragged on the floor until they die. You know, just because.
Bounce it around the concrete.
Yep. Got it.
Says back in 2 Ezra 16 and 20 and 33, having no husbands, I'll read it from the top. The virgin shall mourn having no bridegroom. The woman shall mourn having no husband.
Yeah, the women shall mourn having no husband. So a lot of these women, they're gonna lose their men. Okay, they're gonna lose their men because there's gonna be a million ways to die out here in these streets. Go ahead.
Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers.
Yeah, their daughters are gonna mourn having no helpers. And there's gonna, and I think in the same chapter it mentions that there shall be nobody to comfort them. Nobody's not the news, not your family. You got people today, they got frustrated over a bad day at work and they want to cry. They need somebody to tell them that's all good and all sweet and shit. No, that's not gonna be reality. And you know, you tell people about reality, you tell them about themselves, and they get so offended. This shit is crazy, man. People cannot take constructive criticism. They get so deeply offended, even when you're telling them something that's gonna better themselves. Maybe you shouldn't say it that way. You know, the situation happened like that because of the way you handled it. Try handling it this way next time. Oh, yeah, you always got something to say. There's always something wrong with what I do and yada. All right.
That's where Isaiah 4:1 comes in.
Hey, Jake was just recently found hanging from a tree, dead, hanging from a tree. 3 different Jakes in 3 different states. So Jacob's trouble is there. It's like you gotta see it to really grasp it. But we out here to warn y'all of these things that y'all ain't gonna have no control over. You think that you want to take heed to it, but yeah, man, 3 Jakes just recently hung to death from a tree.
Well, you tell other Jakes about that, they're gonna be like, okay, that's crazy. And continue about whatever they're doing. And like this could never happen to them.
This world is detached from reality, man. This world is not, you know, in the sense of the disillusion, man. They're completely out of touch with what's going on. So they think, well, I'm just looking at this through my phone. The shit that you see on your phone is happening somewhere else, and eventually it's gonna come to you. Okay, but you think it's just that's why we brought up yesterday the brain rot thing. You know, brother Aharon brought out brain rot, and that's what's happening to a majority of people. You know, their brain is literally rotted out from consuming this. It's just brain rot material. You know, brain rot content on TikTok, wherever, right? And you're at the point where you're digitally lobotomized, man. Okay, you're lobotomized. They didn't, because back in the day, they used to do lobotomies where they'll chop a certain part of a criminal's brain out so that it will make him docile and he won't be committing murders anymore. But now they're at the point where they don't have to lobotomize anybody. You're already lobotomizing yourself, spending all your days on TikTok and spending all your days consuming garbage, man. Reality TV, Love Island, all this fucking garbage, man. Okay? And it doesn't make you better. You're worse off after you consume this shit. You're supposed to consume things. It's like, okay, I gained something from it. I learned something. Maybe it was comedic at least. This shit ain't even funny. It ain't even entertaining. It's just drama. People are glued to it. It makes them feel good. I don't know what it is. People are just sick in this society, man.
Weird energy. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. There's a method that can increase your productivity just in your every day-to-day life. And it's called dopamine loading, where basically, when you first wake up, you got people that are accustomed to, they wake up and immediately they're like reaching for their phone. They're either checking messages or they're like scrolling for notifications or IG or whatever the case is. When you do that, immediately you start getting that spike of dopamine, whether you realize it or not, because you might see something exciting, you might see something that triggers you, whatever the case may be. You get that spike. And then eventually it goes down, and then you try to go do your regular day-to-day activities. Now, if you got things that you have to do that are not fun, like working or whatever the case is, it's going to be very hard for you if you keep on. It's going to be very hard for you if you keep on going. Your dopamine levels keep on going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, because your brain can't stay stable, right? It goes up. Because you're scrolling. Then you put your phone down, and then you try to do some work. And then in some little gap comes, and you're like, this shit is whack. Then you go back and grab the phone again, and it keeps on doing that, and it messes with your focus. It makes it harder for you to do the hard things because your brain has already been at a high. So now doing the things that you don't want to do feels like an even lower low. And now it's like, it's a drag. But if you start your day off and you get the hard things out the way, you know, the little tiny things, taking a cold shower, you know what I'm saying, eating breakfast, those little tiny things, they give you a little spice of dopamine, but it keeps you at a nice baseline level up until when you get towards the end of your day, then you all that other fun shit you wanted to do, that's fine. You could let that rip because you've already done all the hard things you wanted to do throughout your day. It's kind of like the cycle of the weekday up until Monday. I mean, up until Friday. People get very excited on a Friday because at that point, it's like, now I can do all the fun things I wanted to do, you know? But once again, majority of these people, going back to the concept of brain rot, they don't do that. All right, they call it doom scrolling, where you just scroll and scroll. And you have some platforms where they scroll for you. The second the video is done, it moves on to the next. Then it's done, then it moves on to the next. And you're just there, you know, just constantly just being, so your brain is no longer processing, it's no longer doing anything. And that makes people lazy. They don't want to do anything that's not giving them that same chemical reaction they get from this black mirror that they spend all their time on. So they always, and that's why you never really see people that are on social media, especially these so-called influencers, stay the same, right? They always try to stay relevant. And the way they do that is they try to meet the hunger of people's attention. People don't want to see the same thing again and again and again. Eventually, it just becomes regular, right? It's no longer a high. Like you have somebody that gets high for the first time, and it's just like a completely different world to them. And then they keep on trying to get high to reach that first point again. And eventually what ends up happening is their chemical reaction levels get so altered that now they need to get high to feel normal. No longer is getting high feeling like a rush, but now it becomes the normal for them. Okay. And if they don't get high, they're going all the way down. Their baseline is just like they're cooked. They feel like there's something wrong with them. Okay. So what that does is it readjusts your body, all right, and your sensory levels to where now you're like, I have to do this in order to feel good. Now, if you need to now get high to feel normal, what do you need to do to feel high? And that's when they start delving into these more intense drugs, because it's the same thing. Then they jump up a level. Okay, now they're doing, meth. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, this is like, oh, this is different. And then they keep doing it. And then once again, now they can't go back to weed, because going back to weed makes them feel like something is wrong with them. And they definitely can't stop doing drugs at all. So now they got to keep doing meth to feel normal. Now, in order to feel high, they jump to a more intense drug. And that's how they keep going up the chain until they overdose or they die or something. Now, that works in many other things. It's not just drugs, because drugs are not the problem per se. It's the effect they're having on you. Chemical dependency. They're chemical dependency. And the chemical dependency is not induced by just drugs. Drugs are just one form of inducing that. Okay? Social media is another, because whether it's social media or it's drugs, it's doing the same thing internally to you. It's the same. When you're on social media, you see a nice post, you still release dopamine. Just like if you do drugs, you release those different hormones, okay, or those chemicals. And so you have people that now they'll post a video that'll go viral, right? This is a regular person. They post a video that they didn't expect to go viral, and then it goes viral. That's their high. They're like, oh shit, like, yo, it got mad views, I got mad attention, my followers just went up, like, yo, I'm up here now. And so the video goes viral, and now they felt that high. They want to keep doing that high. So what are they going to do? They're going to start now they were not a content creator, but now they become a content creator because they want to keep that same, feeling of like, I posted some content in minutes, it got millions of views. I want that again. And then it's the same thing with the drugs, right? They go up. Now they got to keep on posting stupid shit in order to feel that high or feel normal. And then in order to feel high, they got to do the dumbest shit. That's why people start coming up with these crazy ass challenges. And you'll see somebody that went viral for something and now they're doing the most. That's what people say. Like, yo, you're trying too hard right now. Why? Because they're trying to chase that initial high they first got when their first video went viral. So now they start doing some extreme dumb shit. It's like, bro, that's not what you started doing. Why are you doing this now? Because they're trying to chase that high. And eventually what do? They just mess themselves over.
Yeah, I was passing out. He had Ray J come on his stream and try to jump in the shower with
That
us.
shit was mad gay. That dude was gay as hell.
Super
Bring it.
suspect.
Yeah, bring
Super
it.
fruity, man.
Yeah.
You know? And these guys are just going more and more, and it's all jokes and funny games, right? Until the Lord bring the Sodom and Gomorrah judgment on your ass, man.
They asked that dude because he went on was it Newton, Cam Newton or somebody's show, and the dude was like he was like, yo, you said you wanted to take a shower with you wanted to jump in the shower with another man, and he had to the host of the show stopped, and he's like, yo, like, hold on, what's your sexual? He said, what's your sexuality? He should just ask him, why are you gay? You know, you are gay. So he said, what's your sexuality? This guy is, his response alone was so gay, man. I'm like, oh my, I gotta change the word. He was the ubiquitous. He was the epitome of ubiquitous. This guy's sitting there with his fruity ass face, and you know when a nigga start, Rigged. When a nigga starts smacking his lips when he talks, he is gone. Okay, that's that like he just drank some sweet wine. You know what I'm saying? That shit. No, you are gay. Yo, so they ask him, yo, what's your sexuality? He's there like, I mean, but why does it matter? I said, get this guy off the show, bro. Get this nigga off the show. This dude is just, wasn't he the one who so-called smashed Kim Kardashian? Wasn't that him?
Yeah.
How? But it goes to show you it's that damn industry, man.
Yeah.
You know, they opened him up like the halls of Britain or some shit. You know. Anyway, so this dude, he's on there talking about, why does it matter and blah blah blah. And then eventually he came out and said, he got what was it? He said he got ties to the gay agency. Yeah, the gay agency. It's like, bro, what are you talking about, bro?
I think that's his shit too.
Yeah, it might be. Or not, it might be. Whatever they said he did it. He's one of them niggas.
Guilty.
Yeah, he's guilty. You know, but that's why the Most High got something for dudes like that. Both the ones that come out, see, you got moles that behave like, effeminate moles, and then you got moles that try to act masculine to hide the fact that they moles. They all moles. Okay? They all moles, and the Most High is going to bring a judgment upon them for that. Talking about you want to shower with another man.
God, and you know who's in the midst of that, carrying that shit on? The so-called black woman, man, and the Latino woman, for that matter. The Eve woman, the Israelite woman, is the one. She's the main advocate. That's why a bunch of moles, they can get the cheeks, because they love when they see, because they have penis envy, so they hate to see masculine men, because to them that's like, oh, that's a patriarchy, all this bullshit, right? But the minute that they have any type of sense that you're not a mo, it gives them the ick. That's what they call it. Oh, you gave me the ick. It's a turn off because you're not a full-blown mo, a full-blown maggot. All right. That offends them. Oh, what am I going to do with that? Oh, I bet you have conservative values too. I bet you believe in the Bible, right? Oh my God, patriarchy, right? But don't worry, because you will have your day with the bear that you've been begging for, okay?
Oh, yeah.
That bear might come in the form of an actual bear or bear-like men that are going to come and jack your ass up.
Yeah, Bear Grylls.
Yeah, you had this one thing that happened a few weeks ago, but the whole CK thing was happening.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the whole CK thing was happening, and people kind of didn't see it. But in Queens, this one dude, he was trying to holler at this young girl. She was like 16, and I guess she wasn't having it. But she was dressed in a certain provocative way, which was not wise. If I was her father, I would say, why the hell was you out there to begin with?
Right.
But there was no conversation to be had because he rammed his truck into her, and apparently she got chopped in half on the telephone pole.
I can't have you no one.
And that's how he went. That's wicked what he did. But at the end of the day, that's also the judgment of the Heavenly Father. Because you women out here wanton, showing off, you look at the social media, of course, they had all this provocative shit. All right. And then you're going to draw in the wrong type of person, the wrong type of man. Don't get mad at us because we're telling you the facts of how life works. Okay, this is how life is. All right, you out there flaunting it, and then there's predators and men that are going to look at you as a prey. Okay, and then when it happens, you want to blame all men. No, a real man would have told your ass, stay your ass home, and you would have been protected. But you don't want to listen. That's why you out there, and that's why there's going to be more horrific judgments like that. And it ain't even Jacob's trouble yet, and you out there getting the Jacob's trouble judgment. You see? So what's gonna happen when it actually goes full force? Y'all people are not ready, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw real quick. I saw a video of a black, and it's always a black demon too. It was two black chicks walking in the street, and the dude is he's walking, and I think one of them bumped him right as they're walking, and he's like excuse me, or excuse me, something like that, or watch where you're going, and she's like, no, excuse you, and he's like what? She's like, I said excuse you, and it like straight up aggression in his face, you know. And she's just like getting mad aggressive, and this demon freaking pours her soda or whatever in his face. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that. She was wearing green and shit.
Yeah, the one that was, I think they bumped into.
Yeah.
He was like, you could have said, excuse me.
Yeah.
And she was like, and you
Yep. That shit. And I'm watching that shit. I'm like, yeah, he had a lot of self-control, a lot of self-restraint on that. But you know, and he's like, yo, see, this is what I'm talking about. Because he knows what he means by that is, in this society, a chick could do that and everything is all good. Right? But if I retaliate, I'm the one who's in trouble now. So eventually what's going to happen is the Most High, because that's the spirit the Lord put on him to have self-restraint. But when the Lord is like, all right, now it's full-on judgment, this dude, the Lord will put a spirit on him to where you're in a time when there's no consequences. Imagine what he would do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like pick you up and slam you on your neck type shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 8-ball jacket guy. And at that point, what really, you know, confuses me, you know, what baffles me is the fact that if that dude was to put hands on her, he would beat her ass straight up and down. So what makes her think that by pouring and starting an altercation like that, that's an okay thing to do? Anyway, you got it, bro.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that video, but just hearing it just pissed me off, man. Cause hey, it is what it is. But sometimes some of these men, you gotta, a bitch do some dumb hoe ass shit like that, bro. You smack her side of her face so hard she lose earring on one side. Then she gonna pay attention next time she walking, because then, you know, one of her faculties is missing, so her eyes can see better. So next time she's not gonna bump into you. You see, the moment that drink pour into your face, whap, right in the side. Make sure you time it right so you hit the ear part, so she lose hearing. That's what she needs to hear, because she's not getting it, right? She's not getting it. But I have a quote here. It says, "It's crazy how some people need no proof to believe a lie, but demand endless proof to accept the truth." Unfortunately for these people, the prophets are not here to provide you endless proof so you could believe the truth. Nah, our job here is to give the message, whether they hear or whether they forbear. We're not here to counsel you. We're not here to pull you down and sit you down and say, hey, listen, you better repent. No, we're not doing all that. We're just giving out the word, and the elect are hearing it, just like how we heard it. You think the apostles, the brothers, everybody was out there chasing after us? No, they know who we are. As a matter of fact, we were the ones looking for them. And they're the ones like, yo, who's this guy? Who's this weirdo over here trying to, you know, reach out in the middle of the night talking about what's this precept mean? Nah. You see what I'm saying? So we are the ones who, if you want to know the truth and hear what the words of the men of the Lord are saying, you got to come look for the word. We're not coming looking for you. All right? The Lord is not coming looking for you. He's only sealing up his elect, and everything else after that is judgment. And like Ashiar was saying, you're not even in Jacob's trouble, and you got a lot of people catching Jacob's trouble type hell. In other words, it's going to be a long ride for you, nigga. If you're already catching Jacob's trouble hell, it's going to be a long, long, long ride for you, man. It's a never-ending a trial and tribulation cycle. All right? You got winter coming up soon. Yo, man, you people are not ready. You're not ready. All right? I got a quick precept here, going back to the point you was making about Gay J. All right? Ray Gay, whatever. All right, this is a book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, start from verse 9. It says, "Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God?" And when you go to that word inherit, it simply means to have possession. Okay, to be made an heir, to have possession, to be given an inheritance. Okay, so it says, "Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind," meaning you are homo. You practice the ubiquity lifestyle, okay, and all kinds of different forms of demonic energy that you like to get into, okay. All these things, the Apostle Paul is saying that if you into these kinds of things and you got that kind of spirit on you, you're not gonna make it, man. You're not gonna inherit the kingdom. You're not gonna have that possession. In other words, if you're an Israelite, you're not gonna make it the first go around, okay. You're gonna be here. You're gonna be destroyed right here along with this place, because those kind of practices is what America preaches. That's what America pushes. All these so-called celebrities, they get paid to push fornication, idolatry, adultery, freaking effeminate behavior, homosexuality, all that shit. They promote that. They get paid to promote that. All right. It says, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. Okay? So all you people that live this worldly life, you revel in sin and wickedness, you have a judgment that's coming for you. You're not going to escape. All right? Don't let America deceive you to make you think that, oh, the truth is considered hate. You know, just because I stop you from saying it, that means that it's not going to happen. No, 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 no. All right? It means that you're going to be even more ready for that judgment. In other words, you're going to be sitting prime and ready in wickedness. And when that judgment comes, you're right ready for it. You know what I'm saying? For the fire to consume. Okay? Like it tells you, I believe in the book of, is it Jeremiah where it talks about, or Isaiah, I think it's Isaiah, where it talks about the Lord is going to make that sacrifice. You got goats and cows and rams. That's all you niggas, man. All you wicked ass niggas. And America is that altar. Okay? America is that altar. Just like how on the left hand side, you got these celebrities that be doing performances, all right, on the stage. That's their altar. That's their satanic altar. Okay, they got the pentagrams and all the candles, the lights, the performers and all that, the witchcraft music and chanting, and then people rejoicing and all that. That's the altar right there for them. Okay, so the same thing, but on the right hand side, Yahushua's altar is going to be here. America is going to be that altar where he's going to do that sacrifice. Okay, so if you here on that altar, you already know you're going to be meat ready for that fire, man. All right, but you got it, bros.
Back in 2nd Ezra 16 and 34, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed.
Yeah, and that goes to show you that you're gonna have, because how are they gonna be destroyed? One main way is gonna be through the drafts, because they're gonna bring that back. They're gonna take a lot of these men and some of you women, okay? But also in the wars, it's gonna be a lot of chaos going on. That's gonna lead to a lot of people dying. Go ahead.
And their husbands shall perish of famine.
Yeah. See? So that's one of the mechanisms the Lord is gonna use to bring that destruction. Okay? And perishing of famine is not a sweet thing. But a lot of people are not going to survive the coming plague that the Lord is going to bring upon the earth in that time of Jacob's trouble. And it's going to, or I should say the cure. And that's to purge the world of all this arrogancy, as the scriptures say, their arrogancy, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. It's because these people are proud. They're wicked, they're wrong, and they're proud. Okay, and they like it that way. So when you call them out for their wickedness, they get angry at you. You know, they start using all different terms. Oh, these guys are this, these guys are that. But you know what? It's because people don't actually listen and verify information nowadays. You can literally watch a video and the caption just says one thing, and people just take it as that. They watch the video and see it through the lens of the caption. What if the caption is a lie? What if it's wrong? What if it has no facts backing it whatsoever? People don't verify anything. They hear one thing and then they run with it. They'll see a video of somebody post a video on TikTok or on YouTube, and they could be making up the whole entire thing, fabricated it. But it sounds real, so it goes viral and people think it's real. Meanwhile, there's no proof. You look it up and there's nothing backing it. And you're like, yo, how'd y'all all fall for this? Because they've conditioned the minds of the people to be like that. So they're not ready. You're going to get deceived. When they lie to you, you're going to believe it. When they poison your food, you're going to eat it. When they tell you, come over here, we got peace and safety for you, you're going to end up there and it's not going to be peace and safety. You're not ready for that. Because they're going to stop it. Oh, here's another thing. I was actually, I was speaking to my mom about this. I was like, yo, isn't it interesting how so many people claim to believe in the Lord, right? They always claim, oh, yeah, you know, in God's name, this. But you know, when they say that, it's always from a point of comfortability, right?
Them being blessed,
Mm-hmm.
or them like having things, carnal things.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's always from a standpoint of, you know, everything is nice and sweet out here. And so, you know what? God, yeah, whatever God says, that's what we're going to do, or that's what we're going to go with. But when it comes time for them to actually exhibit that faith or exercise that faith, you just try mentioning it to them in that time and see what they tell you. You know, they're going to look at you like, yo, imagine they're in the hospital or something bad happens. You're like, oh, you know what? Let's just pray. You know, why don't you pray for? They're going to look at you like, yo, bro, don't even come here with that, bro. Like, now is not the time for that. Like, I'm looking for actual solutions right now. I'm looking for actual physical solutions. And you're like, wait, hold on a second. What happened to just, taking the herbs and praying to the Lord? No. I want to go to the emergency room right this second. But wait, last week you were talking about how God triumphs above all, and you were agreeing that the Most High controls life and death. So, wouldn't you just be better off praying first and then letting the Lord situate it? No. And they make haste in the time of trouble, right? So it goes to show you that their faith is in their words alone. It's not in their actions. These people are not going to step out on faith. When the time comes, a lot of people, even people who claim to be in the truth, they're not going to step out on faith. They're going to fall back on fear. Persecution is going to come, and they're not going to say, oh, you know what? Whatever happens to me, I'm going to be okay because I trust in the Lord. They're not going to do that. They're going to say, no, dog. I'm all right. I'm falling back. They gave me a chance, and I took it. I'm using wisdom. And it goes to show you that's why the Lord is going to go so hard for his elect, because they're the only ones who are actually going to stand by that word and say, you know what, Lord? We didn't come into this ministry to serve you in words alone, but in deed.
If I may add, it mentioned the famines, right? So a lot of these people that walk by, you see couples walk by, man, he might kind of scoff and smirk like, crazy guy, and walk by, he's going to die of famine, all right? And his wife might be Isaiah 4:1, where he ain't going to be his wife anymore because he's going to be in the spirit realm. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of these type of situations, man, all right, where these women are going to be out here without no protection, okay? And they're going to be begging. That's why all of the things we're reading is the setup for Isaiah 4:1. That's why Isaiah 4:1 makes sense, because it's all dealing with horrible judgments and women being out on their own. No husband, no prospective husbands, all right? Because you sure as hell ain't going to Gay J in that time, okay? You sure as hell are not going to these moles, okay? Ghostface Killer's son, which is a straight up Mo, and did a diss video against his father. And they couldn't tell if it was a son or a daughter in the video. Oh, shit. Yeah, crazy shit. You got it, Charles.
They showed you where their faith was, right? Because some people say, oh, God, the power of Christ, Jesus Christ, all say, but hey, you read the scriptures, did not who you call Jesus Christ, did he not walk on water? Did he not heal a blind man and things like that? Did he not heal the sick? So where is your faith in Jesus Christ now? Where it's like there's this, unknown enemy, there's this disease that's killing everybody. Why isn't everybody, or this country and the president will say, oh, in God we trust, God bless America. Well, if you believe in God so much, why wasn't there like a moment of universal prayer and say, hey, like something on the team, and look, we're going to have a moment of universal prayer. We have a situation going on in our country right now, and we're looking to God for assistance to help us out through this trying time. We've had a lot of people die. Let's all bow our heads and pray. And the president says a prayer. Where did that happen? If you believe in God and all this, that's something that should have happened. That's something that people should have done. Like, hey, look, I believe in God. His son healed people. If I get that thing, he's going to heal me as well. Nothing like that happened. They went and they showed you who they believed in.
Well, they banned prayers for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they say, you don't be out here trying to pray for that. Don't listen to that. Trust the science.
And then when you bring it up to people, like, well, what happened to the Lord? Like, what about faith in the Lord? Like, the Lord can heal you. The Lord can protect you. What about that? Listen, man gave us technology for a reason, right? And man gave us this technology. So basically, your faith is in man's technology. Just say that. Don't say that the Lord said. You got some real nerve saying this. You mean tell me Peter Taylor sent from the Lord? He's sent to deceive on the left hand, but he ain't a servant of the Lord. He ain't a righteous servant of the Lord. But the way y'all talking is he is. These people that are giving you this technology, they don't even believe in the Most High. They're anti-Messiah. They're openly saying, yeah, they're moles and they're against the God of the Bible. But then you're going to say, well, the technology they gave us, man said, God sent him. Yeah, he did, but for your deception and for your destruction. So be careful what you say.
Then they're going to quote Romans 13. You got to be subject unto the higher powers. Yep. There was a pastor, a female pastor, that went and she tried to put into practice what she wasn't preaching. And she got up out of there quick. And that congregation said, hold on. The devil must be up in here. Because God left with her. Because guess what? This demon came up in there. Demon. She came in there talking about, hey, you know what? We're going to do it. Hey, 144, that's it. She came in there, somebody, you know what? No, it's fine. Let's do it. You know, it's going to be okay. They said she did it 7 days later. She was gone. You know, she went and rolled up the sleeve.
Oh,
Yeah. They took her up out of there. And at that point, the congregation had to reassess. They said, hold on a second. You know, Sister Dorothy told us that it was going to be okay, but she's not okay. So now I don't know what's going on, Pastor.
Ain't that was a situation where it was like a comedian or something, right? And she was on stage doing her thing, and she was mocking. She was like, you know, oh, those people who didn't take it, you know, y'all are crazy, and you believe in God and all these extra things. And as she was mocking the Heavenly Father right on stage, boom, she was out of there. She literally goes back. She cracked a joke. She said, yeah, I took it. Everything is fine. All you crazy, scary people all there. And as she's talking her shit, boom, 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 she falls flat. And then it happened just literally instantly, to the point where the people in the audience thought it was a joke. So they start laughing like, oh shit, like that was a good one. That was a good joke. She literally just fell down like, wow. And then they're like, oh, hold on, she's not moving. And then they realize that, oh, this is not a joke. The joke is on her. See, so you're going to see a whole lot more of that. But I just thought about that when you mentioned that.
Yeah, that's right. And that's that the Most High is not mocked. Yeah, he's going to show it. See, the Lord is going to start doing things in real time. Okay, and that's when people are going to fear, because they don't see the Lord take action in real time. Because as the scriptures say, thou art a power that hideth thyself. It's not because the Lord is not powerful. It's because it's not time yet. Because if the Lord, look, do you know why they have the concept of undercover police, right? Or they have the show undercover boss? What happens if the CEO of the job you work at showed himself as the CEO? Everybody's going to put on a fake ass act. Everybody's going to be perfect. They're going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing, so-called, and so on and so forth, right? So they come in undercover because they want to catch you in how are you actually knowing what you're supposed to do. Are you the kind of person that does it? If I feign myself as your coworker and I become cool with you, I'll get the insights. I'll get what you really think about my company. I'll get how you really are on a day-to-day basis. Do you actually work? Do you not? You know, who you talking shit about? And all of those things. So that's what the Lord is doing right now by not showing his power, because the Lord showed his power like he did in ancient Egypt right now. There will be a lot of fakeness going on. Out of fear, they would say, oh, yeah, no, shit, yo, we got to do what we got to do. No. The Lord wants to know what's within, not the faking, the outward faking. Oh, you know, wait, we saw what was, first off, you had the time of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, right? And they were wicked men. And the Lord destroyed them, right? Now, when he destroyed them, in that very time, I'm pretty sure majority, if not everybody at that time, they shut their ass up. And they quieted down. And, you know, being practical for a period of time, they probably did as Moses said. They followed what Moses and Aaron said. They said, look, we don't want to end up like Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. We're good. Guess what? There were still wicked individuals amongst that congregation. That's why they were there in the wilderness for 40 years. So if the judgment that they witnessed was enough to change their actual character, we wouldn't have needed to be in the wilderness for 40 years. Even post that, the Lord would have been like, hey, everybody's good now. But that goes to show you that witnessing judgment doesn't change your character, because they witnessed the judgment against the Egyptians, and then they still went and collected double, when the Lord told them to collect enough for a day's work, they still went and got more. They still disobeyed the Lord. So the Lord knows that, yo, if I show you the judgment before the time, you're just going to act righteous. You're not actually going to be righteous. So I'm going to let you stay unrighteous. And that way, when I bring the judgment, that's it. I don't need you. Your act don't mean shit, because I already got the track record. You know, literally, you will have Jake doing wickedness the day before the judgment comes. And when the judgment comes, they'll try to act like they were all good. And the Lord's like, less than 24 hours ago, you were committing adultery. What the hell? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, but Lord, no, I didn't even know she was married. Your text message is talking about how, yo, hey, I'm glad your husband don't know about this, because if he did, I'd be cooked.
F your husband.
Yeah. That dude's a loser. You know? What are you talking about? Now you just lied, and now the Most High is going to do even worse things to you. That's right.
Yeah, I did. In reference to what you said, Deuteronomy 31:29, for I know that after my death, you will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you, and evil will befall you in the latter days, because ye will do evil in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. Yeah, so just as the brother said, and this is after they seen all these judgments. Okay, after they witnessed all these judgments. This is after, matter of fact, is it? Yeah, this is after Corey, Dathan, and Abiram. Okay, this is after these horrible judgments that they had to witness in the wilderness. Okay, and Moses is saying that I know you wicked ass niggas, that after my death you're gonna still corrupt yourselves. You would think that that would be enough. A chariot being over you, the Lord burning the top of Mount Sinai. You would think that would be enough, but no, with Jake it's never enough, man. It's never enough, and that's why it ain't even at the point now, thousands of years later, where they're nah, we're ready now. No, you still ain't ready. You still ain't ready, man. All right, the brother says sprinting. That what did it turn into? Bleeding, weeping. You know, that's what they're gonna hit that wall just like SpongeBob did, man. They'll smack that wall, okay? Teeth falling out. Can't even speak no more. You know, no more is gonna bring such horrific judgments. A lot of people, you might even choke on your own tongue speaking against the Lord, man. Because what does Zechariah 14 say? All those that fought against Jerusalem, all right, that their eyes are gonna be melted in their head, and their tongue is gonna be melted in their mouth, which is twofold. All right, your lies and the vain vision. Your tongue being the lies that you spoke, and the eye. Why does it mention the eyes and the mouth and the tongue? Your whole body's gonna be burnt, obviously, but why does it specifically mention the eyes and the tongue? Because that's your vision for the future. Being a cyborg, like the DC, the actual hero Cyborg. That's how they want that. Why did they make him a so-called black man in DC? Because that's what they want to do to you. And here it is. The Lord gave us, of all the nations, even though we're in the lowest state, we still have the most gifted, blessed bodies of all. But he wants to take you and merge you with technology. Okay? So with all those things happening, Jake is still not getting it. Okay? And Jake is going to be on the receiving end of that right hand from Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua.
Right. Let's get 2nd Ezra 15.
What's up?
Yeah.
2nd Ezra 15:1. And it reads, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy.
That's what we're doing. Right? We're speaking the words of prophecy. Majority of the things we talk about are things to come, things that are going to happen to you. That's what prophecy means. So when we're out here doing that and online, we're speaking in the ears of our people, whether they care or not, the things that are about to happen. Go ahead.
Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord.
So that goes to show you that, and when he says he's going to put that in our mouth, meaning he's going to put the words in our minds that we speak, right? Because we don't premeditate what we're about to say. We just come out here and go through the Spirit. So the Lord is the one controlling the message that we're bringing out. Go ahead.
And cause them to be written in paper.
Yeah, and that's what was that's what was set up, you know, so that we could have the records of today, right? In 2nd Ezra 14, matter of fact, get that real quick. 2nd Ezra 14, where Ezra said, you know, basically the Lord should help him recount all that has happened, so that those in the latter days may find their way. I think it's right around the middle part of the chapter. But and the scriptures tell you, right, the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. So the Most High has these things preserved because through history you learn a lot about reality. You learn about the present and the future. It's the same people, okay? It's the same people. Look, when you look at the mannerisms of, you know, say a lion, right, or a dog, or whatever the case is, it's always gonna do a certain thing, right? It's always gonna yawn a certain way. It's always going to move its tail when it's agitated, right? You can tell certain things. When a dog starts wagging its tail, it doesn't matter if this is a dog from the time of Job or a dog from 2025. It's always going to wag its tail a certain kind of way as a reaction to something. What that means is that's how dogs are. So when they get happy, they're always going to do that. So when you read in history and you're like, okay, so historically, we know dogs have been known to wag their tail a certain way when they're happy. I know that if this dog is happy, it's about to start wagging that tail, right? And when it's wagging that tail, I know this dog is happy. The same thing applies to humans. When you look at how did human beings, how did civilizations of old, run? How would they run? What happened when civilizations went down? When civilizations turned into dictatorships, how did that happen? What were the people's reactions? How were they before it happened? What did the dictators use? And you look at that over and over and over again, and they kept on happening the same way, the same way, the same way. That history now lets you see the signs in your future to say, oh, this guy's doing the same thing that they did back then. And because of human nature, it's going to work. And that's why we've been doing it again and again and again, because it's human nature, it's going to work. You give a dog a treat, it's going to wag that tail because it's happy. It doesn't matter if it knows you're about to give it a treat. It doesn't matter if it knows what you're trying to do. It's still going to do it because that is human nature, or that's in the nature of the dog. So these elites, they see how humans behave. They've studied history. They've seen how it happened with different ancient empires. And now in this time, they just make it better.
Like that. Yeah, I think it was predictive history. I can't remember. Predictive history. It's like some either Moabite Ammonites. You're talking about, pretty much what they're seeing that's leading to the collapse of society. And when you look at history and go through like certain empires, like the Assyrian Empire, one of the things that led to them essentially going down was the ruler at the time. I think his name is Shin-Shar-Ishkun, or I think another name was Sarakis, one of those two names. And what he did was he was a cross-dresser, and he was one of those type of dudes. So you see the type of energy that was now pushed out there that, like it says in Sirach, if I'm mistaken, 10:4, as judges so are the people. So if your ruler is into cross-dressing, what do you think the other people are going to be in? That shows you, a low mindset of the ruler. So the people are going to have that same type of mindset. What did we see with the Babylonians? They were lax. They were relaxed. You're seeing that same type of mindset here in America where people are relaxed. They're not really on edge. I can't remember if we were talking in one of our classes or you want to say in the live stream, there are people right now that there are things happening in the world and they're oblivious to it. They don't know what's going on. And that's essentially how the Babylonians were. They were lax. That's why, if I'm not mistaken, the hand, when it wrote, one of the things I forgot, it said, if I'm not saying you were found wanting or if you were found just basically in a lackadaisical mindset, you're just very comfortable. And that's what you see happening here in America. Then on top of that, at least with the Romans, I'm not too sure about the people, but with the Romans, they start to spread themselves too thin. That's something that you're seeing happen in America. So add all those things that you see that happened in the past empires, and you're seeing America do that same type of thing. And what? All these things led to these previous empires to their end. So if America's doing that same type of thing, what do you think is going to happen to America if it's doing the same thing that led to those empires ending as well? I just want to add.
Go ahead.
2 15:2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
And there, meaning what? They're going to happen. Regardless of how old these words are, they're going to come to pass. And we believe that. And that's what gives us the edge, right? Because we actually believe these things to our benefit. Go ahead.
Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee.
Yeah, so their imaginations and their incredulity, their incredulity going into their disbelief, okay? And through which they speak against us, right? They come against us because they don't believe what we're telling them. So because of that, we're wrong. Because of that, we're just hate. But anybody with common sense, if they actually listen to what we're saying, they realize, these guys, I may not agree with them, but they got a point. And people like Vocab Malone and these so-called Christians, they won't admit that we have a point, but they do admit it in their actions. Because if we are just, once again, what we're saying is just pointless, why are you so hung up on us? Why aren't you that hung up on other Christians that are teaching the wrong thing? Other denominations, Jehovah's Witness and all that. Why is it us? If what we're saying is just, you don't know what you're talking about, fine. So what's the big deal? You don't go to the churches and do that. So clearly we must have something that got you hooked over here. So you don't need to verbally admit it. Your actions alone say it. Because the fact that you're going to go and study and then come back and say, okay, you guys said this, but now what about this? I went and looked it up. And wait, why are you looking it up? Why do you care? So you mean you're spending time outside of here, your own personal time, doing something as a result of what we said? That means what we said holds some weight, doesn't it?
Yeah, just to add to you, Vocab, you don't see him speaking against the whole Libiquita. don't see him speaking against all the filth that's going on. But why you focus on them? We just a bunch of crazy guys out here.
He might be a little bit with it.
Yeah, he might be. He might just be. Or they might have him do a sacrifice where you ain't, but you about to be. You gonna get with it. Whatever they tell you to do. Because when you locked in with them elites, man, you gotta dance to the tune that they got. We dance to the tune of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. But the point being, you over here focus on us. We're these crazy lunatic Hebrew Israelites, right? But you spent your whole career trying to refute us. So what does that make you? If you arguing with a fool, people from a distance can't tell who is who. So why would you spend your whole career arguing against us if there wasn't some validity to what we're saying? Which we know is not just some. This is 100% valid.
Yep.
All right. And everything you say is 100% fraud, man. And he even changed his teaching style. And if you look, he kind of takes certain things from what we say now. And he kind of pieced it, but then he tries to throw his own little mixture in there. That's a devilish nature. Because that's what they did. Essentially, they took our book, right? And then they threw a so-called white man on it. And they said, no, and they took 70% of it out. What's the difference between that and what vocab's doing now? The slave Bible.
Yeah.
That dude's
You look like the dude that was on the video where he went to court with a suspended license and he's driving. So backing up now. No wonder he on the bike.
crazy.
My bad. You know that.
Nah, that was it.
I think that was like, you know,
I'm a quote verse 12. It says they shall wander to seek the word of the Lord. And shall not find it. That day we're going to see who has the word of the Lord. Because if you have the word of the Lord, and you shouldn't be going off crazy, you should be confident in what you believe. If Jesus Christ is way, then hey, show us in those times. You shouldn't be seeking the Hebrew Israelites in those times, asking them for answers.
right. We ain't gonna come to you. You gonna come to us. You've been coming to us. What does that say? Right? You got something. We got something you want or you need. You ain't got nothing we want. Got it.
Back in 2nd Ezra 15
We're gonna wrap up in the chapter.
and 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
Yeah. So all those that don't believe, you know why they're gonna die in their unfaithfulness? Because their unfaithfulness is gonna lead them in the way of wickedness, and that wickedness is going to warrant destruction upon them, and then they're gonna die from the destruction. Die.
Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world.
See, we're gonna look different in that day. We're gonna look real different in that day. That's why the scriptures say we're gonna be like a gold. What I mean by look different is not that we're gonna be glowing. I mean, we might with spiritual power, but what I mean by look different is that people are gonna see us from a different lens. Right now, they look at us as like insignificant. They look at us as like, what the hell is going on here? Let me just hurry up and pass on by. But in that time, you're going to look at the men of the Lord, pursuant to Isaiah 65, as a source of protection. Like, yo, damn, these men are like, this is the place you want to go to. This is the place where when you get to, you want to be respectful. You know, hey, over here, man, you better hope that, you know, they like you, right? Because if not, you're going to be stuck out there, you know, with the wolves. That's how the Lord, and the Lord, like I said, he doesn't need to change anything physically about our appearances, but it's just going to be the position that he has us in. And it's going to be so easy for the Lord. It's just like that. And we believe it. That's why we're not troubled. We're like, hey, all right, that's cool. That's fine. That's like when you got what they do, they'll have like somebody like Kyrie Irving. He'll put on makeup as like Uncle Drew, you know, some old ass dude, and he'll go and cook people on the court. And then after that, they'll take the thing off and they'll be, oh shit, yo, that's Kyrie. Meanwhile, you just talking shit to him. Somebody, you ain't shit. Yo, look at you. You're too old to ball. But he's not stressed because he's like, yeah, once I take this off, I already know. Well, you know what you're gonna do. It's the only difference is you're gonna be stressed, right? Because in that time we're gonna be like, hey, like the dude who had the vision, you know, he said men were being picky as hell. When these women came crying, please take me, he said, hey, I can't. I don't want to have to. Why should I want to raise you and your baby? You know, and that's another man's child. I don't want to have to deal with that, bro. It's a burden. It's a burden to have a woman now. How much more for in that time when you need to be agile. You need to be able to like go without having, you know, I'm dragged down. If something is happening, if it's just me, I can run. I can book it. I could jump here. I could jump here. I can jump over this shit. And I don't care if I you know, twist an ankle. I'll be fine. But if I'm going to twist an ankle, she's probably going to twist too. And her back. So now I got to find another route that's harder. Or I got to say, okay, hurry up. Okay, go. I got every interval. I got to stop and make sure you good. That, you know, responsibility makes you more of a liability, which means
that's like, I got to think twice about that. Do I really want to have to deal with that? Okay, you look fine, but so what? Right now, it's not about how you look. It's about, I'm trying to survive. So should I really take you? And that's when a lot of people are going to find out a lot of these women, their value is in their looks. Okay. And they become so proud, so disgustingly proud, thinking, oh, I look good, so I'm going to always get what I want. No. When it becomes my life versus your looks, why the hell would I care about your looks? And that's when they're going to realize, wait, I have no leverage. I'm literally at the mercy of this guy, because if she says no, what am I going to do? I flashed him. I did all these things, and he's still like, nah, I'm good. I'm out here, man. I'm trying to do what I got to do. Because think about it, right? You ain't even going to have power over your own body in that time. He was going to look at you like, okay, and I'm supposed to take you with me because of what? I could take you right now if I wanted to, and then leave you. So what leverage do you have? None. If I don't want to, I don't want to. Stay away from me. Imagine that. You hearing dudes that you look down on telling you, stay away from me. Oh, shit. And that's giving you your desire, because you never wanted to be around him in the first place. You told a guy, stay away from you. Now he's telling you to stay away from him, but you mad about that? Yeah, you mad. You damn sure you mad, because the life of you and your baby on the line. Yeah. Now you cook.
Like that Outcast song from back in the day, roses really smell like woo. Because basically, like, a bitch can look all good, but then when you get a whiff of that down there, that bitch ain't looking so good no more. Yeah. All right. And imagine in that day where there's not going to be no hygiene. That's the beautiful thing about being in this truth, man, is that the men of the Lord have an intrinsic value. An intrinsic value. Whereas everybody else out here, their value is based off perception. Our value is not determined off perception. Our value is off if the Lord is dealing with us or not. And as long as he's dealing with us, that's where our confidence derives from. So we feel confident knowing, yeah, the Lord still has me praising his name. He had me out here. When we leave, the best feeling you have in the week is when you leave from camp and you just finished camp. You're like, man, I did the Lord's work. Whatever else got to come to me this week, I'm going to handle it, Lord's will. But hey, this is the main thing. And I got the main thing done. Like the brother said, you do the stuff that's hard first, and then the rest of the week, you could do what you want to do, right? But once you get your business done, that's the most important thing, okay? So our value is not based off of people's perception. Our value is based off Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's view of us and our standing amongst the brothers as well, okay? So when you have people out here like a Kanye West or people that want to be rich and famous, they're fame whores. That's what their happiness is derived off people, how people see them. It's like those skits where the dude pulls up and he looks like a regular guy, and then the girl's like, nah, I'm not dealing with you. And then he's like, all right, peace. And then he goes off to the car, and the car is banging. It's like a Lamborghini Urus or some other crazy shit. And then all of a sudden she starts talking a different language. Then nothing changed about the guy, but now she sees what the guy has. She sees what he possesses. And that's just a worldly example. But for brothers that are in the faith, that's how it's going to be in Jacob's trouble. You're going to be the Lamborghini. You're going to be the value. You're going to be the luxury, okay? Because what they're going to see when they see you is going to be protection, all right? Comfort, all right? And that's their ticket up out of here, all right? So remember that, hey, at the end of the day, not just any man is the prize. The man of the Lord is the prize in these last days.
Right. Perfect. So yeah, with that, we're going to end it here. Lord willing, thou is edifying to the elect. Closing, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. Till next time, Shalom.
Go on.
Shalom to the elect. Shalom.
Are we using those?